they said something like 10,000 hours or more it's been tested for. So
Mm.
it's a pretty beefy piece of equipment that way. But all these pieces of equipment, whether offline or online, they have a shelf life. Hey everyone, welcome to the Big Fitness Show, episode 55, take 155 as we open this show and I screw it up, and maybe there should be a Patreon page just for all the swear words that I do on the opening. One thing I don't consider myself to be is very smart, but today myself and someone who truly is smart, Big Mike Barons, are going to discuss smart fitness and really
Yeah.
focus on it. Now, Mike, we have done the old school versus new school. We've done home gym versus garage gym. But in the next few episodes, I think we should really focus on each thing of as far as the pros, the cons, and do these forms of training really work? The smart fitness, I look like a politician doing that. But today we're really going to focus on smart fitness because there's been a few instances, even in the past 7 days since we recorded episode 54, where that smart fitness is not the end all be all as far as always working the way you want to. But once again, everybody here is the smartest man I know, Big Mike Barnes.
I'm definitely not the smartest man, you know. I mean, I might.
Well, we're in the pro wrestling business, so you are the smartest person I know. So there you go.
Okay. Fair enough. Yeah, no, man. It's I'm excited for this conversation about smart fitness because there's a bunch of positives about smart fitness, but there's also a bunch of negatives about it too. And I think just talking through some of that stuff and really figuring out what works, what doesn't work, and making sure that we're prepared for the downside of it and things you can do to navigate the smart fitness. And I mean, I have some thoughts on smart fitness, and we'll obviously get into it in this episode. But it's something that you see all the bells and whistles, you see all the excitement, you see all the cool things that come with it. And I know you do a lot of product reviews on some of the smart fitness equipment, and they're really, 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 really cool. But, you know, like there's a big but when it comes to some of these smart fitness things, and being a little bit of an older school guy, like I don't really, as much as I like technology and being a nerd, I kind of stay away from the smart fitness stuff for the most part.
Yeah, we had actually exchanged text messages because I was thinking, you know, it'd be interesting since you're really trying to focus more on the CrossFit world. That's your bread and butter with everything that you do with X Endurance, as well as the CrossFit guide. By the way, go to bigmikebarons.com and get your free guide. I've been getting emails and a lot of great information. But with that, I said, do you think like there'd be something, because the AI is huge right now, do you think there's a way for you to talk about some of the ways AI or technology can help CrossFit people and some of the ways that CrossFit should kind of be left alone to its own analog devices? You know, no pun intended there, maybe a little bit.
Sure. Well, I mean, like, so I actually started thinking about that after you texted me that idea, and it's very much so in line with smart fitness. And one thing that AI has brought into the whole smart fitness realm is there's a lot that can be done from a programming a workout perspective. Obviously, AI is not going to do the workout for you yet, but it's to the point where it can put the workouts together for you, and you can go to Chat GPT or whatever and say, write me a workout, write me a CrossFit workout, write me a bodybuilding workout, and it will actually do that for you. And so like there's a lot of things that are a benefit when it comes to the smart fitness and the AI. The one caveat to that is like getting to the point where you know how to use AI will to achieve your goals, right? Like you can tell Chat GPT to write you a workout, but if it doesn't know the end goal, then it's not going to write the right workout for you, if that makes sense. So you have to ask it to write a CrossFit workout with a 20-minute Metcon in it, right? And so then it will come up with that for you. And so there's a lot of uses that I think it can be used for from the smart fitness perspective and program that in. But then also AI comes into all the smart fitness programs and things that can plan out a whole workout and adjust based on your preferences and the things that you do and the weights you put in and things. So there's a lot that's coming that I think will be exciting in the world of fitness. but I'm still a little hesitant on the going all in on the smart fitness because of experiences like you've had over the last couple days. So why don't you tell everybody what kind of prompted this idea of what your experience was over the last few days with your smart
Sure.
fitness stuff?
Sure. I've been using actually full time over the past about 60 days. I've been using the STEVIE'S Gym Monster, which basically, if you don't know what that is, if you've ever seen a tonal, it pretty much addresses all the negatives of a tonal that people talked about. The fact that this one doesn't have to be bolted into the wall, it's on wheels, it's light. It also has the same ability as a tonal to be able to do things that usually you can't do at most of those platform trainers that are smart gyms and stuff. Pull downs, serratus pull down from the upper part to pull down. Most of these machines don't have those cross beams where you can do it. The STEVIE'S Gym Monster and the tonal do have the ability to do the lat pull downs and other things, the tricep push downs, other overhead movements, pulling down and pushing down from there. You're able to do it. Now, obviously, I think the number one thing about anything with smart fitness, anything at all, whether it uses, in this case, it uses magnetic resistance with a cable. So it mimics an all-in-one trainer Smith machine type of setup. But obviously, with any piece of smart fitness, you're going to need to have power. You're going to need to have electricity. Let's just start off right there, because there's also an internet factor that is a wall that you might have to kind of like walk around or jump over, depending upon which company it is. So that's what I would say. One thing is, if the power goes out, we live in Florida, we get hurricanes. You're in the Midwest, so snowstorms do take down power. What happens when the power goes out? It's essentially useless. I think that's the biggest con of all. You can grab dumbbells, you can work out, you can get on your air bike and do everything with no power. Would it be inconvenient? Of course, you're in the dark.
Sure.
But you're able to still work out, where this completely shuts off and you don't have access to any of the features or specs.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's the biggest thing that I hate about smart fitness is it's only reliable as your internet connection and reliable as your power. Like,
well, internet's a whole other thing we'll get to next, but the power we'll start with.
The power is the most important thing. And like you can run out a battery off your phone and different smart fitness apps, but smart fitness equipment that relies solely on the power, treadmills that rely solely on the power to run, to work there. Yes, there is, let's be real. Like, the chances of the power going out are not as high as they could be, but there is real possibility that you could lose power, and to be tied to that power, you're going to lose your fitness. And then you want to work out at a certain time of day. So like you and I work out early in the morning. If the power's out early in the morning, now the rest of the day we get cost that workout because the power was out. Whereas if the power wasn't out, we could get the workout in and whatever. Right. So like it's extenuating circumstances that are going to be where the power goes out. But still being so reliant on that. And then when it comes to off grid and things like that we talk about, using less, not being tied to the power consumption, tied to the grid, the more that you can alleviate that, I think the better it's going to be, specifically from a fitness perspective. And then you take your equipment with you, you're tied to it. It has to be plugged in. And so there's a lot of negatives to having to rely on a piece of equipment that has to be plugged in all the time.
Yeah,
for sure.
We're going to go through all the negatives, but I'll talk about the positives towards the end. We'll get all the negative stuff out of the way. That seems to get more clicks and views anyway. All right, let's say second thing with smart fitness. We're talking about, I have a treadmill in the gym, and it's not a piece of smart fitness, but it definitely has bells and whistles, but also requires power, which means right now I'm running an extension cord across the whole garage instead of putting it where I really would like to put it. And that's where, with that piece of equipment, I'm just letting people know, like, it's a Peloton, you can basically get an air bike. A treadmill, you can get an assault runner, which is basically a kinetic treadmill, the curved treadmills. You can work your way around to get the same workout with off-grid pieces of equipment, even something like a total gym as opposed to what I'm using now. Yes, an all-in-one trainer, something like that. Now, when we get to the pros, I'm going to talk about how the Gym Monster, actually, I almost prefer it over an all-in-one trainer for obvious reasons. Sure. You can't roll an all-in-one trainer around. You can try. I don't recommend it. But So let's get into internet as maybe the con or the cautionary tale or the PSA number two. We talked about off-grid living where we're trying to consume way less. Where we're looking to maybe live, there's not going to be like readily internet. There's not going to be readily available internet either. And when it does go down, you're essentially, even if you can use it, most of the things that you're paying that membership for in most products, you're not getting the benefit that you're paying for as well.
Right.
So maybe you can use it, but you're not using it for what you're paying that monthly subscription for.
Yeah. Yeah. No, yeah, the internet piece of that is something that even if you're not living in a place where there's not great internet, most of us live in a place where there's decent internet and you can do it. Like in my house, the Wi-Fi is great inside the house, but my garage gym, because it's the third car garage, it's the third one away from the Wi-Fi router. It's not strong. It's not a strong signal. So then if I love Apple Fitness Plus. I think that's a great feature that Apple has. I think it's great for people to use, and it has great workouts. There's great stuff that you can use, but I've tried to do it. I've tried to do some of them, and then it'll start for a little bit and then buffer. And then I'm just like, like it's the most annoying thing when you're trying to do a workout and you're trying to follow the Apple Fitness Plus. And it's just because every once in a while, for some reason, the Wi-Fi in my garage doesn't work as well. And so then using Apple Fitness, I've kind of gotten away from it in the garage because the connection is weak, and I get it. I could run a cord out and hardwire it in and have it plugged in all the time and all this kind of stuff. I could get a Wi-Fi extender, but logistically, the way the garage is set up, it's not easy and it doesn't make sense. And so like, I just kind of deal with it, and I've gotten away from it. And there's a ton of pros to having smart fitness, but that always having to be connected, always having to be plugged into internet is something that it's a little frustrating, because then you're just beholden to that. And then if you don't have that, well, then you can't have it. And then it's a barrier to getting your workout in. And for people that don't know what to do and you're following the workout, that's great. But what do you do if the internet's out? Then it's, again, this first world problems, but it would be a discouragement, a hindrance to you getting your workout in. And anything that gets in the way of you getting your workout in, I would try to eliminate. And if the internet is going to be an issue, well, let's eliminate that and figure out how we can do the workout without the internet.
Yeah, I agree with that. Even let's talk about, I still play video games at 52. I know you can make a comment about that, but
No comment.
Whenever I'm playing Xbox, now the new Xboxes, or recently, I think it started with Xbox One and now I have an Xbox Series X. It requires somewhat of a heartbeat from the internet to properly work. Also, all my games right now are digital. I'm starting to buy physical DVDs and Blu-rays when the power goes out, but also I want to buy some physical games if I continue the game. So, But even with the physical game, I'm under the understanding that you're not going to be able to access the features. And then when I have a digital game, it requires, like in Madden, it requires EA servers to be logged into in order to play. So that heartbeat there, and I'm assuming smart fitness equipment, you can work. Like, I'll give you an example. The Speediest Gym Monster, I sent you a thing, or I did a little YouTube short that said, hey, I can't access this to even go into a free lift because the Wi-Fi's down, our internet went out. And, people were like, it's so funny how people are so tribal about this stuff. Telling me how stupid I was, and all you gotta do is hit the Speediance logo 5 to 6 times, and that'll, like, how the fuck am I supposed to know that you hit the goddamn thing 5 to 6 times? Like, it's general knowledge in the FAQ, which it wasn't. Sorry, I just got us clipped and flagged.
No, it's fine. I put the explicit check on that, so we're good.
But it's just like, how the hell do I, they like, it's the world we live in. Hey, you're a dummy. Don't you know there's this convoluted way of doing this shit?
Yeah.
No, I don't, because I'm a real human being with common sense, and doing this is not common sense. And now this week, I couldn't log into the server. This morning, it had a server error because they were updating, and the update's incredible, by the way, on the thing, the UI, and they really have done a great job. And that's one of the pros we'll get to is there's more room to really change your experience as time goes on, as opposed to an analog piece of equipment, which is what it is, and that's it. But my wife said, well, I'm just going to do yoga. So she had to alter which he had planned to do resistance training wise. Now, when I came back in, it was back up, but it was too
Sure.
late. Like you said, you're either going to get your workout in, you're going to divulge over this way, or you're just going to skip it because it's not worth the
Yeah.
hassle. And that to me was like, they've updated it. Now you can free lift without internet. Obviously you need power.
Good.
Without internet, you can do this. So they addressed it. But I'm
Yep.
guaranteeing you, Tempo Studio, Nordic Track Vault, Peloton, what else? Tonal.
Yeah.
They're essentially almost useless without the power and the internet combined.
Yeah. Yeah. No, yes, I think in our journey to become more self-reliant and be more reliant on not as reliant on other things, I've just, man, getting away from workouts. And I think from a fitness perspective, it's good to have the smart fitness and you can rely on that to learn. But what I think we should be doing, and I think getting away from being reliant on those kind of apps, being able to learn to teach ourselves to do our own workouts, to come up with our own things, come up with our own plans, use those, sure, but know what to do in the event that those things don't work. And so you're not as reliant on that, I think is a huge step in the right direction. When it comes to smart fitness. Yeah, smart fitness is cool, but let's use the smart fitness to teach us so that we can become smart enough to do the things that we need to do all the time, so that we don't have to rely on those smart fitness pieces of equipment to get us the workout that we want to do.
So what we're talking about so far, probably the two major cons with this, besides we'll get into the financial one with a lot of these smart fitness pieces of equipment.
Mm,
Power is required, but if you have a treadmill or an elliptical, or you understand you're tethered. You're
yep.
tethered by the power. You're also tethered to a degree by the internet, depending upon
Mm,
distance from the Wi-Fi router, or if you need to get mesh Wi-Fi and extend it and do that. There could be other cost implications to that. Speaking of cost, now the Speedians Gym Monster right now does not have a membership, and there's a lot of features, and I think that's a strong point for that piece of equipment. But mostly every one of them, I think Expedience is about the only one that has, a full featured workouts, classes, on
mm,
demand, metrics, data, custom workouts that are free. Everywhere else, you're paying a subscription. And we're talking not $10 a month. Most of these like Tonal, Peloton, all that, we're starting at 30, 40, 50, sometimes $60 a month
mm-hmm.
for that. And we
Yeah.
understand the apologists or the defenders or the tribalist people say, well, my whole family can work on that. My whole family can have an account. We can have up to 5 people.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Can 5 people work out on it at once?
Yeah, no, that's a fair point.
Expedience does have a partner mode, but basically all you're doing is you have to share the cable things, which is okay. If you're doing arms, you can go back and forth from one to the other. But
Mm-hmm.
most of these pieces are single use it at a time only, which is understandable.
Mm-hmm.
But somebody's got to wait their turn or wait their workout or do whatever, and you're
Yeah.
paying that rate for that.
Yeah. Yep. No, I get it. Yeah,
And it
that's
goes without saying, but some people might not realize, yeah, you share it, but you're not sharing the piece of equipment while it's being used in most cases.
well, yeah, that I mean the cost, the barrier to entry with the cost of these smart fitness pieces is so much higher than just buying some dumbbells, like and buying some basic gym equipment. And so that's definitely a hindrance. I mean, what's the Speediance go for? I mean, right now it's
I think the
a couple
sale
thousand
probably,
dollars.
yeah, I would say about 2 grand. Most of them you're going to start out with is for good ones that have a good ecosystem with the classes and on demand. It's 2 grand easy, if not more.
Sure. Yeah, and so like just that alone, I mean I can buy a lot of dumbbells for 2 grand. Like you can buy a lot of dumb fitness equipment for $2,000. And so that part of it for me makes it seem like, okay, this is a much higher barrier to entry. Yes, you get a lot with it, but it's a big ticket item. So that's definitely a con when it comes to the smart fitness piece of this. And you're paying man, I need some of those throat lozenges. You're definitely paying for the added feature of the smart fitness. And, people, you can justify that in your mind. If you go to a gym, like if you go to a CrossFit gym, you're paying a premium for the training and the coaching. And so you're paying, $100 to $150 a month for unlimited classes at the CrossFit gym. What you're getting there is the one-on-one, or not one-on-one, the group coaching. You're getting a coach every time you go to a class. So you're paying a premium for that. And so that I can see with the smart fitness, you're technically getting a coach with the app that you're using and the smart fitness program. So you are paying a premium. And if you justify that in your head, it's just such a high ticket item to even get started that, to me, it's a non-starter for most of the people that I talk to. And I just wouldn't, because I know enough, right? But like for most people, it makes it such a hard thing to go after when it comes to bringing in the smart fitness equipment.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. You know, and they're all in one, there are all in one trainers that you can get for 1,500, 2 grand. I think the Force USA has a G1, a G3.
Sure.
I'm familiar with their all in one trainers. You could probably get even a stacked functional trainer for around that or a little bit more. And obviously, there's a used market that you can do that. Now, let's get to the positives because I think there are some positives.
Yeah.
And I'm only going to speak with the products I've used. Namely, let's go back to the Speediance Gym Monster. I have to
Mhm.
say, dude, I mean, as far as digital weight is concerned, I was always concerned like it's not going to feel the same way and it's going to feel easier and, dumbbells. And that's another thing. There's an adjustment that we'll talk about towards the end. But dude, I feel like I'm engaging my muscles. I'm using isometrics.
Mm.
They have a regular mode, an eccentric mode, a chains mode, a fixed speed mode. They have tons of features on this thing, and I am really fanboying over it because I've used it for about 60 days, and I have so much fun using it. It takes up no space. I can roll it wherever I want to film in the living room. We can
Yeah.
move it to wherever we want. It's got a lot of great. I'd be able to do like cable pull downs again. Be able
Yeah.
to do a straight bar pull down or basically use the handle to do reverse, neutral, all that stuff. To be able to do bench again and have the J hooks and mount and dismounted. It's got a lot of features. Even the rowing and the ski erg accessories that I have, it's pretty damn close to having a rower and a ski erg machine. So
Really?
there's fun functionality. Fun. It is fun. There's functionality along with that I'm just like, if I wasn't in the fitness business, I wasn't reviewing stuff and I didn't have this brand that I need to run, dude, for now, this would have been like all myself and my family would use.
Hmm.
With now, I probably would have a spare, like a set of adjustable dumbbells with, we already have a bench, a set of adjustable dumbbells. God forbid, if the power and the internet are out, I can still get my workout in or throw a mat down, do yoga, do whatever I need. So I would
Yeah.
always have an offline thing. But I'm telling you, this thing is pretty damn sweet. When it
Yeah.
works, it's awesome.
Cool. Well, I mean, I've seen your video reviews, and it does look like a great piece of equipment, and other smart fitness pieces of equipment seem great. And if you can afford them, then I think from a all in one footprint, they don't take up as much space. You can do a lot of things. So to me, I feel like there's a lot of benefit in that sense, and it's all right there. I love that it coaches you through it. It gives you a program to follow. It has a whole layout of it. So there's a lot of pros to the smart fitness, and for a beginner and or somebody that maybe can't get to a gym, it saves time. I mean, we've had past episodes where we've talked about all the benefits of working out from home and all those kind of things where it saves you so much time, and there's so much benefit to having a all-in-one home gym. You can, the Speediance Gym Monster, the footprint of it doesn't look like it's very big, so you could fit it in a spare bedroom, you could fit it in your living room, and then roll it away when you need to, bring it out when you want to, and it seems like it's super easy to move around. So there's a lot of benefit. It doesn't have to be bolted into the wall, so there's a lot specifically with the Speediance, but even other smart fitness things, there's so much convenience that comes with it that I think there's just a lot of benefit to it, and again, the odds of the power being out all the time are not great right now, right? So like we don't have to worry about that. The internet, if you got good internet, don't worry about it. It's a non-starter with the negative piece. But I mean, the more that you can make fitness easier, I think smart fitness for most people can be a huge benefit to helping them get on their fitness journey and get on that path to living healthier every single day, for sure.
I agree. Now, well, after the eclipse, we won't have to worry about it because all the
Yeah,
power
right.
and the internet will be out. so, yeah, I have to get my little theories in there every
Yeah,
episode.
no, I get it.
So,
Hey, that's why I said right now.
yeah, exactly. April 8th, here it's coming. It's coming. Who knows? But I will say,
Uh,
I will say that they're like, well, you just said all the bad stuff, and now you're waxing poetic about these things. Well, we love technology. We're using
mm,
technology right here. It runs our
yep,
brands. We have a great appreciation when somebody puts and implements technology in the right way, whether it be fitness, content creation, whatever it might be. So I do have
mhm,
an appreciation for this piece of equipment, but I
mhm,
also say, okay, that's what that is. But I also have an affinity for those dumbbells, the adjustable dumbbells, the space saving footprint. I love the Total Gym, which is the most analog workout that you can add weights, bands. You can do a bunch of stuff. There's always choices out there. Just like we said, the air bike, the curved treadmills, there's tons of
yep,
very great offline versions of these particular things. But I would say that when you weigh, depending upon your situation, your financial one, your power situation, your internet situation, if you can do it, if you can afford it, and if the infrastructure supports it, I think smart fitness is definitely something that can give you the best value. And let's talk about this too. You talked about the CrossFit, $150 a month. If you know you're paying $150 a month as opposed to 10 for Planet Fitness, you're more inclined and motivated to go to the CrossFit class for 150. You
sure.
spend 2 grand, buy the membership, you now invest it. Now you're under pressure, whether good, bad, or indifferent, to use it because my God, I paid all this money. I got to use it. That is a motivating
Yep.
factor for most people.
No, that's true. That's definitely true. And the cost of it, if you figure it out, like you pay 150 bucks a month for a CrossFit gym over the course of a year, that's 1200 dollars, $1,300 that you're paying for your membership. So you can justify that if you buy a $2,000 piece of equipment, it'll pay for itself in a year and a half, versus a CrossFit membership or any kind of other gym membership. It's a coaching gym, and so
And
not
that's only one
obviously Planet.
person. If it's more people using it,
Right, right. So there's definitely from a cost there, you can figure out the cost savings if you're committed to it and you've been doing it and it makes sense. Then yeah, I think it's great, and I think too with the smart fitness, not all of them, like the smart fitness equipment is the all-in-ones like we're talking about can be really pricey, but some of them are relatively inexpensive. Like there's a lot of smart fitness. I've seen smart fitness jump ropes that you can get that aren't that bad. They're like 60, $70. There's other different smart fitness apps that you can use that help program the workouts for you. There's I've seen smart kettlebells that you can adjust, and you press the little button and then adjust the weights
yeah.
for you because they're smart and it tracks. There's so many different smart fitness things that can come that aren't insanely priced, that can give you a great benefit, that can help keep you on track and help keep you motivated and help track things for you, which is great. And so there's a lot of benefit to the smart pieces of it that you can do. But the one thing that really continues to just come back to me with the smart fitness and all of it, and this is a huge pro. I talked about it as kind of a con, but it's a huge pro in that it can teach you how to be smart with your own fitness. You can use these apps that you're learning, or use the equipment, the Spedients, the program that's there. You can start to pay attention to what it's teaching you, and you're getting the benefit of having a coach, but it's all built into the trainer that you have, or with the app that you're using, you're getting the benefit of having the programming and having your workouts there for you, and you can learn from that. So eventually, after a year of having the programming or subscription that you have, you can now get away from it because you've learned how to do your own workouts, and I wouldn't recommend that for everybody, but it's a way to start to learn. And so you can take more control of your fitness and take more control of your health, and now know I don't have to rely solely on this app to walk me through the workouts. And then you can save money by not paying for it and start doing your own workouts and coming up with your own stuff. So I like it because it can be a great teacher as well.
Yeah, I would say this. I'd probably sum it up. I probably the biggest negatives would be obviously the power, the internet,
Mhm.
no particular order, the barrier price to entry. And also, I didn't talk about this earlier, but some people, I've asked Spedients about this specifically about how long it's rated to last, how many hours, how many
Mm.
workouts, because we're talking about magnetic resistance, we're talking about motors, we're talking about cables, and they look pretty strong, but they said something like 10,000 hours or more it's been tested for. So
Mm.
it's a pretty beefy piece of equipment that way. But all these pieces of equipment, whether offline or online, they have a shelf life.
Mm.
Now, obviously, when there's more bells and whistles, when there's a screen, when there's AI, when there's also internet chips and obviously computer chips with these,
Mhm.
when there's more moving parts and more parts in general, there's more that can go wrong. And I can't speak to warranty replacements or warranty repairs or anything like that. I don't know how it works with Tonal, Spedients, Peloton, any of these major ones. But just so you know, when you use it, it's going to eventually go bad. When you use an
Mhm.
all-in-one trainer or a total, well, I wouldn't even say all-in-one trainers and total gyms because those are built almost in a commercial way. I don't know about Spedients, Peloton, and Tonals if they're built for 8 to 10 hours or 12 hours every single day, 7 days a week to be used like that. So that's a big question mark on a lot of smart fitness. How long is it supposed to last before it eventually breaks down?
Yeah. No, it's good. That's good. Yeah. And then dumb fitness, they might last a little bit longer. A lot more parts than the smart fitness stuff that could go
Yeah.
wrong. So no, that's good, man. I think that's a great summation of what smart fitness can do for you. I think there's some pros, there's some cons. You just got to figure out which ones outweigh it for you. And, for me, I'll tell you my honest opinion. I would rather have dumb fitness equipment than smart fitness equipment. But if it works for you, it works for you. So it's all good, just weigh the pros and the cons. So I think that's good, man. I think we're good for this episode. I don't know what else we
Yeah.
need to
You
say
said I
about
was
smart
jacked
fitness.
yesterday, so it must be working. Smart fitness must be working.
You were your calf raises. Stevie's got a calf raises video. Check it out on Stevie Richards Fitness channel. It's got a calf raises video that will be out at the time that this episode is released. You should check it out. It's a really good video. And his calves look awesome in it. So definitely check those out.
Well, thank
But
you. It's
anyway,
from using a walker for 4 or 5 months.
yeah, right. Anyway, hey, thanks for tuning into this week's episode of the Big Fitness Show. We appreciate you guys. If you got some value from this, share it with somebody who might also get some value from it. You can always email us if you have a question at thebigfitnessshow@gmail.com. We're definitely here to answer any questions that you might have or engage in conversation. Check out Stevie's fitness channel. Check out his wrestling channel. Check out my channel. We appreciate the support. And yeah, for myself, for Big Stevie Cool, this has been the Big Fitness Show, and we will see you in the next episode.
Dumb wrestlers talk about smart fitness. That's a good title.